Welcome to another episode of the Spark It podcast with me, Patrick CJ, and my co host, Kimaru Baby. Today, we'll be exploring ways to turn ideas into action. And who better to talk to about this topic than my co host, Kimaru Baby? Kimaru Baby has founded and built LatitudeZero Opportunities as a very powerful platform that is currently empowering over 300 young people in Kenya. Isn't that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I have the right person to speak to about this topic. And they say that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And I'm just wondering for you,
Mm-hmm.
what was that moment that inspired you to start Latitude Zero?
Oh wow. We are getting just down to getting things done. Yeah, anyway, that's fine. Latitude Zero, it's actually a really long story, honestly. But the inspiration came from when I was in campus. There were these people who actually sponsored me through uni. And basically, one of the things that you were supposed to do was to volunteer your services. It could be you could give in terms of time, talent, or money. So they would say it was the three T's: time, talent, or treasure. Yeah. So we would give back and then we would like write reports about the things we were doing. Yeah. So I think around, I would say maybe the first year of my university, I was struggling with like something impactful to do because I felt like for the giving back, we used to call them giving back commitments. I felt like I needed to make something or to come up with something that would have sort of an impact and I would find fulfilling. Yeah. So when I got to my second year of uni, I started doing beadworking. Yeah, so I literally was a hawker at school. During the day I was in class, in the evening, and at night I'm doing a bit of beadwork in my little house. And then when the things are ready, after classes, I would like go to the hostels and sell these things to students. And at the end of the day, I started making money, and I was so excited about that. And I was like, wow, so at this point, I'm like, so why am I struggling with a give back commitment? If you can give in terms of your time, talent, or treasure, my talent at this point was I could do this beadworking and I could sell it, and it was making some, like it was like a side hustle for me at this point because I would make money out of it. Yeah, so I decided I'm gonna make it like my commitment. Yes.
Right.
So I started training other girls at school and outside school, like women around my home and stuff like that when I was on holiday. Yeah, and I found it very fascinating because if I can teach you a skill and you at the end of the day I can tell you like this is how you can price your products, this is how you could market your product, this is how you could make money because it's making money for me, then I found it more fulfilling because now it was a give back commitment that was relating to exactly what I was doing or what I was kind of becoming now passionate about at that particular point. So I found it very. I remember in another episode we talked about purpose. At that point, I
Right.
found it like I felt like it was a purpose for me. It was something that was giving me some level of fulfillment. Yes, and that's where I would say the journey to now Latitude Zero began because now I started doing that. And by the time I was done with uni, the same organization that sponsored me through uni, actually, I applied for a job. There was one time when we were almost done with school. They were like, oh, by the way, we are looking for people, program assistants to help us with some work. Yeah, of course, again, doing almost similar things with girls because they were offering scholarships and stuff like that. Yeah, so I started working with them, and at some point they sent me to a very remote place in Kenya. It's called West Pokot, and here. there was like 100 girls over there rescued from early marriages and FGM, and they were so passionate. They were had been gathered in some place where they would be given like a 6 months what is it called, a 6 months training program where they would be taught like various skills from agriculture. They would do culinary skills, they would do digital literacy and stuff like that. Yeah. So that's so for me that was very fascinating, and I worked with them for a while. And by the time, I think 2 years down the line, no, while I was still at West Pokot, because I was stationed there for like 6 months, I was like, by the way, let me just also I had won some award through again the same organization while I was still in school just before I had finished. So for like one of the best give back commitments, so they were supposed to give us some small money. Yeah, and when they gave me this money, I think that's when I had just started working with them. So in my free time, I was like, if I'm here, I am working with them, I might as well train these girls how to do beadworking. Yeah. So I would work during the day, and then in the evenings I'll be like, okay, if I was like, if you're interested in signing for beadworking classes, just see me. And then
Mhm,
a lot of those
mhm.
girls actually signed up. I think around like almost half of that class signed up, and I would teach them. So I taught them
Wow.
beadworking. Yeah, I taught them beadworking skills. And when I stopped working with this particular organization, I started doing freelance work. I wrote, I wrote and wrote and wrote. A friend of mine introduced me to writing in the context of like monetizing the skill. So I started writing. I wrote day and night. It was good money, so it would keep you on your toes on your desk. Yeah, so I wrote, and at this point, another friend of mine, we were working on some community project. We had started like some digital literacy classes in Nakuru, where I live or where I come from. um yeah, so I would give back again in terms of my time and my talent. Yeah, so those are the things I was doing in Akuro with this digital literacy, whatever we were doing. Yeah, and eventually, so I remember when I was in campus, I used to tell this particular friend, I'll be like, oh, by the way, I think one day I would want to start a school where I would teach people skills, because I kind of felt like while I was still in uni, I would literally see how people, like, they would clear university, you have your degree, but people are still jobless. Like, people are
Mhm.
staying 2 years down the line, they're still jobless. They're like, I can't find a job. So I kind of felt like, what is really the value of a degree? And I'm not trying to say a degree is not important, but I used to feel like the kind of, I feel like sort of in Kenya right now, I think almost all of us are very educated. People have degrees and all that. But in terms of the opportunities out here, the opportunities are very limited. And so people will clear school, they're done, they're looking for jobs, and 2 years 3 years down the line somebody has not gotten a job. And also because I feel like also the education system has sort of emphasized on the fact that, get the degree. I don't feel like people, we were taught necessarily how to think outside the box. It's more of just read, read, read. It's like we are being prepared to work hard, do well, and you will get a job. But the reality outside here, it's not the same. You will work hard, you'll get that degree, but getting the job is really the trick here. So for me, the fact that I was doing beadworking in uni and I could make money, I felt like, what if I'm a student, people are looking down on stuff like skills, those kind of specific skills. But I didn't feel like doing whatever I was doing was taking away from me also
Yeah.
being a university student, in the context
Mhm.
of, I found so much value. Like, I'm a university student, I'll get my degree, but on the side, I have learned how to become a marketer, a salesperson, a designer, all these kind of things, and it's making me money. So yeah, so I thought that it's important to also focus on skills that can actually make you or help you create even your own employment, instead of just focusing on just a degree. And I also feel like people, especially here, people have a lot of time in school because there's very limited part-time jobs to do. So I feel like in between classes or school, there is a lot of time there's a lot of time that a university student has, which they could probably either use it to learn a skill, or maybe even run a small business or whatever it takes. Yes. And I feel like, yeah, those were the gaps I could see while I was still at the uni. Yeah, so now I'm done and I have stopped also working with this organization. I'm doing my freelance work. And at this point I feel like all the things I'm doing, it's not necessarily like the degree that I went to school to do has been the one making me money. It has been these skills that I learned on the side.
Right.
Like, I didn't go to a school to learn how to do writing. It's something I of course enjoyed writing since I was a child, but now I honed the skills way later after uni, or during and after uni. Yes. So those are things I didn't have to go to a class to learn, but I have learned these skills and they're making me money. So I used to feel like, if only I could address this issue, then it would make a lot of sense. So I would say
Mhm.
that that's like sort of the background of where Latitude Zero began. Yeah.
Wow. So
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
it's a very powerful story, considering how you transformed it
Mm-hmm.
from just a volunteer activity that you
Mm-hmm.
were doing as a way to give back to the community,
Yeah.
and turning that into a social enterprise that is now helping 300 others become employable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Oh yeah, and actually to top up that, now up to the point where it comes into existence is,
Yeah.
as I'm doing my freelance work. So this friend of mine that I'm talking about, we were working on another organization called Tech together, and I kept telling them, oh, I would want to start a school anywhere at some point. Yeah. So so they met these guys. They live abroad, so they met with these people, and these people introduced some friend of theirs introduced them to some organization that works in Kakamega, and they had an orphanage with kids like from the ages of around 6 to 24, so a bit of grown-ups anyway. Yeah. And these people they wanted to set up a computer lab, and of course the Tech at that point donated computers. And I remember it was like in 2019, during Valentine's, me and two more people went there, and we were having fun with the kids. We set up a lab for them with these
Yeah.
computers that had been donated, and then for
Hmm.
like around 3 days a weekend, yeah, we showed them how to use those computers. And then when I went home, I am speaking to this friend of mine, and I'm like, hey, by the way, I think for kids who are just having access to a computer for just that particular weekend for the first time in their life, I don't think it makes any difference for them. They'll probably not utilize those resources in the best way possible. So, and then because it was around, that was Feb, yeah. So I was like, what about maybe during the April holiday, when they are all home, for example, including the ones who are in boarding school? What if I go there and volunteer like for a month? This volunteer thing keeps coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think people should actually volunteer. Yeah, so I go there so they're like, yeah, sure, if you're available, I'll talk to the guys, the owners of the home, and if they accept, you can go. So they accept, and they're like, yeah, sure, sure. So I was like, I can go there for a month, because I was doing freelance work, so I
Yeah.
felt like it was a bit flexible. So I was like, let me go there for a month and teach them how to fully utilize those computers. And then now, while we are still organizing, I still tell this person, hey, and by the way, I have a lot of beadwork. Even now, I have a lot of beads in my house. I'm like, I have a lot of beads in my house. So I'm thinking, if I'll be going there for like a month, I might as well carry the beads and go alternate. So I'll have sessions where I'm teaching them digital literacy and another lesson for beadworking. And they're like, sure, if it's not too much work, it's okay. So during the holiday, me and my other brother, we go there for a month, and we volunteer there for a month. So we are teaching the kids digital literacy. Some other time we're exchanging that with beadworking, and by the end of that period, I take like really nice photos of the kids, the products they had made, some videos of the work they were doing, and it was, for me, I was really impressed by what they had done, which is why I was actually documenting this whole process. And anyway, so I decided like, okay, I already have this stuff, let me just share it. So I write like a really nice report, and I attach the photos and put the videos on a folder, and I send them to these people, and they're like, yeah, that's what they did for the holiday, and it's nice. Yeah, so we leave. The next thing I know, my friend is asking me, oh, by the way, these guys, they're asking you, they're asking if you would like to be employed. Like, what do you want? Do you want to be employed or whatever? So so apparently they had wanted to actually start a skills training
Mhm,
program at their home
mhm.
for a while, but it had been a bit unsuccessful. So they were really impressed by what we were able to achieve within such a short period of time. Okay. Yeah. So when my friend tells me this, he's like, so what do you want? Do you want to get employed? And then they're like, by the way, you've always said that you wanted to start a school. This could be you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then they go ahead and float the idea of, because we were already doing digital literacy in Nakuru,
Yeah.
uh, with higher tech. They're like, what if we combine these skills, a skills training program in terms of like hands-on skills with the digital literacy? And yeah, that's how Latitude Zero started. Actually, we actually went ahead and registered a company.
Wow.
Yeah, which is now Latitude Zero. And we were like, yeah, this is what our offering, or maybe our services will be. We will be teaching people. Our goal was to bridge the gap by providing skills training to people, or to young people, so that we can equip them, so that either they can, you have the skills to, either you want, if you want to start your own business, you can start your own business. If you want to be work ready, you're work ready. Because if I teach you, like, say, photography skills today, you could either start a business, or you could go to somebody who already has a business and also be employed there.
Right.
Yeah, so that was sort of the goal of Latitude Zero, and why we actually started it. And the reason why I was giving this background story, it's because for me, it started way back from when I started doing those give back commitments, when I was still at the university. Because I would be like, yeah, if only like students at the school could see the beauty of learning a skill on the side
Right.
and monetizing that skill, because it had worked for me. I was
Yeah.
making extra money. Yeah, I
Right.
was balling at the uni. Yes, I had money. Oh my god, good days, good old days. Yeah. So anyway, yes, that's the genesis of Latitude Zero and how it actually came into existence.
Wow. That is fantastic and very inspiring, to be honest. So
Hmm.
s- basically you have trained 300 young people between the
Hmm.
ages of 16 and 24 on beadworking and digital skills.
Between the
Ha-
ages of six,
Six.
from as young as 6 years old. Yeah, you teach kids how to use the
Wow.
computer. And they're really
Wow.
good. Yeah.
So how are they doing now?
Oh my God, those kids. When we started the training program, it used to
Yeah.
feel like sometimes you feel like you can't see the progress. And
Right.
especially now that I have mentioned the ages of those kids, especially I remember when we started, like the very young ones who are like 6 years, seven, and all that. Sometimes, especially with the beadworking, we would limit them on what they could do. We are like, oh no, this one no,
Mm-hmm.
this one no. Maybe we're excluding them from particular programs. Until
Yeah.
later, you'd be seated somewhere and watching them in their free time. They're so curious. They go sit next to somebody who is doing the beadworking and they're watching.
Yeah.
Sometimes they try to sneak and get some beads, and they
Yeah.
try to do it. Eventually, I realized that these kids, it didn't matter what age they were
Yeah.
so good and so passionate and so curious. So I stopped excluding them. It took me a while, but when I realized, I stopped excluding them from any of the programs. So like all our programs became very open to all the children. Like it doesn't matter what age you are at, you just need them to teach them a bit of responsibility. So
Yeah.
when we started, there was a bit of resistance because you are trying to introduce something like the traditional way of doing things in Kenya is go to school, finish school, do whatever, whatever. This whole skills training thing, apart from the
Yeah.
fact that the government in recent years has introduced the competency based curriculum, something whatever,
Mhm.
something like
Mhm.
that, which is sort of embracing a bit more of skills training, but still not at that capacity.
Yeah.
So initially it was such a hassle actually to get them to sort of understand what you're trying to do, because I remember we introduced to them, we were trying to teach them, for example, how to do gardening. And I remember at some point, one of those kids, and she was actually in high school, she was like, why are you even trying to teach us how to garden?
Yeah.
Now it's a home, and they have like sponsors from outside who donate to make their work easier at the home. For sure, it's like
Mhm. Mhm.
it's a non-profit, yeah. So even
Mhm.
the kids already know, like, they have sponsors because they're matched with specific sponsors. So they're
Mhm.
asking, so this kid asks us, why are you teaching us farming when somebody's already providing the vegetables? Like, she couldn't understand, like, why the hassle. So for that particular thing, for example, we had to like have a lot of talks with them and show them the importance of whatever, because I was trying to tell them, sometimes we think about farming as this backward thing, or
Yeah.
maybe something that you need like a really huge farm, when you could do
Yeah.
something. If you're living in a town, you could do like farming at your balcony, using, like, planters or whatever thing that is available to you. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we taught them the value of something like that. And like years down the line, if you go to that home right now, their lives have completely changed. Now that you're talking
Right.
about how that looks like for them right now, you go there, every small space they have, or every available space they have, or the farm, the space they have put specifically for the farm, you would find like things are blossoming, onions, all manner of vegetables, and it's very clean. They have made sure that the land is tilled, the vegetables are taken care of. If I show you pictures of how that space looked like when we got there the first time, and now how it looks like right now, you wouldn't think it's the same home.
Right.
Like, there has been sort of a very big mindset shift, including in the whatever we including in the lives of those kids. Because also there was one, also I remember when we were doing beadworking, at some
Yeah.
point I think they thought that this is exhausting stuff, like, why are you telling us to do beadworking, what's the importance anyway? And at some point there was like, it was a hassle, because for me, I felt like, I want you guys to see the importance of this thing. I really want you to do it because I already know the impact it can have on someone. Yeah.
Right.
And this kid says, she was also in high school. She's like, no, I'm not doing it anymore. And she quit. But eventually, after she was done with the high school, I remember one of those holidays, I went for a holiday program, and she comes and sits there, and I've taught the kids and I am done. And then she's like, Kimaru, I have something to tell you. I'm like, okay, I'm listening. She's like, thank you very much. She's like, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's up? She's like, I used to think that beadworking was it wasn't something I should learn or stuff like that. But even with the little I learned, and when I came back and tried to also continue learning from the other kids, now that she had now enrolled in college, she's like, this beadworking has been very instrumental for me, because now I do in my part time, or when I don't have classes, I do beadworking, and I sell these stuff that I make to students, and that's how I earn extra money at school. And I'm looking at her, I'm like, impressive.
Wow. That's really
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
so basically when you guys were
Mm-hmm,
training them,
mm-hmm,
um, particularly to do with beadworking.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, what exactly were you guys training them on? Like how to make necklaces, how to make bracelets, or what exactly?
Oh yeah, that it was like you teach them how to make earrings, necklaces, bracelets, everything that you can do with beadworking, and even how you can use the same beads to decorate something. Yeah,
Right.
it used to be like how you can manipulate different types of beads to make, especially mostly jewelry. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
that was basically it. At some point we wanted to get to a place we could teach them how to do, like, you see the Masai sandals. Yeah, we
Yeah.
wanted to get to a place where we could help them do that. I believe right now somebody's teaching them actually how to do shoemaking, if I'm not wrong, the last time I checked. Yes. Yeah, but yes, they right now those kids can make any type of beadwork you get to them. They can make, they have the best products out here. I have pictures somewhere of the last
Wow.
products they made like last year, and it's really impressive, and they're so creative. And at some point, let me tell you something interesting. When
For
you get
sure.
there, the beadworking thing we were doing, the dudes, the boys, they would feel like, oh, that sounds very girlish, I will not do. Oh, and then I used to tell them,
Yeah.
uh when, as far as skills are concerned, you can do anything. Don't limit yourself and say this is what women should do, this is what men should do. All these things we are teaching you, anyone can do. A woman can do STEM courses, a man can do STEM courses. A man can do beadworking, a woman can do beadworking. At the end of the day, they don't define whether your femininity or your masculinity. This is just work. You could be the best designer and you're a man. You could be the best, maybe whatever, engineer, and you're a woman. So for me, I was trying to also demystify that kind of thought process, because these are, some of them are like kids, and if they grow up with that mentality, that's why maybe some of them, if it's women, the girls, they'd fear getting into maybe STEM courses because they're like, ah, I'm not good enough or something. Yeah, so it was a lot of, no, it was more of, you're trying to teach skills training, but also you're trying to demystify some of these things. And some of those boys eventually, like, they caught up. And trust me, the best kids who do the best designs in that home, it's the boys.
Mm-hmm.
There's some of the
Wow.
very specific boys, if you gave them any type of beadwork and let them play around with it, the things they would make, you'll be like, wow, very, very, very impressive work. So for me, even right now, when I go to them and I need something made, there's just specific people I'll be like, yeah, yes, it's you, it's you, it's you. Yeah, it's like that. And and that has also happened for the girls, because I remember when also we started teaching them like the digital literacy, a bit of coding and stuff like that. Some of the girls, like, the way you have like the computer lab is open and people can access it, the boys would be like, they go fill up the room. There's no
Yeah.
room left. And then the girls are out there. They're just seated somewhere under a shed. I'm like, guys, why aren't you going into the lab to do something? They give you all manner of excuses. And then, so you would sit them down and talk to them and show them why it's important for them to also like spend more time on the computers to continue learning. And these
Right.
kids, when they learned that it's okay and they started exploring, also the girls now who used to fear computers and stuff like that. Now the things they ended up doing with those computers, you look at them, you're like, wow, I'm impressed. Because at some
Wow.
point they thought it's a man's world. But now the things they end up doing, you could clearly see like, oh, this girl can really do amazing stuff. This one can like design like really cool things. This one can create a website from scratch. So yeah, it was
Wow.
more, it's skills training and also trying to have like that sort of mindset shift for them. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. I think for me,
Mm-hmm.
what I see is from your story,
Mm-hmm.
um, how you started Latitude Zero to how you've been empowering young people in Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
What I see is a very powerful impact of volunteering. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, clearly I see from your
Mm-hmm.
experience how volunteering can really be a powerful tool for us
Mm-hmm.
to give back,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but also a powerful tool for us to develop ourselves,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
build our skills in
Yeah.
particular areas of interest,
Mm-hmm.
but even to discover our areas or what we are most passionate about.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because clearly for you, you were studying tourism.
I know. It's totally different things. I know, right?
Yeah, you were studying
Yeah.
tourism
Mm-hmm.
only
Mm-hmm.
to discover that you have a passion for social entrepreneurship.
True.
You
Mm-hmm.
exactly. You had a knack for it.
Oh yeah. I believe that those give back commitments played a very, very key role in, sparking that sort of interest into finding ways to, or finding my way into even starting Latitude Zero, honestly. Yeah, that was the genesis for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing how
Mm-hmm.
volunteering changed the life, like the trajectory of your life.
I could have been somewhere seated and be like, you call and you're like, hey, I need to go to Uganda. Could you book me a flight, a return ticket? And I'm like, yes, please give me your details.
Yes.
That could have been my work. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I really do think that I genuinely feel that
Mm-hmm.
volunteering, as your experiences have shown, is such a
Mm-hmm.
nice way to apply skills that you've learned in actually
Yes.
practice.
Very true. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But to also learn other skills that you can't find in the classroom.
I know. That's
Yeah.
true. I keep telling actually people I come across, I'm like, if you have some time, just volunteer, okay? It doesn't cost a thing. I feel like, as you said, you learn something, you give back. In it could be, and it could be anything. It could be in time, it could be in money, and also your
Yes.
talent. So it doesn't have to be, something too big. Yeah, but
Yeah.
whatever it is, just volunteer your time, especially if you have some time. Why not? I don't see the problem with that. And also, it could be a
Yeah.
good way to network, also.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, clearly it helped you uh, meet with people that later on got you employed.
I know.
And
Yeah, when I think about it, I'm like, he's crazy. That I think that actually played a very big role in me getting actually to where I am right now, honestly. Because maybe if I had not been like, oh, let me go back for that 1 month and do something, those people would
yeah,
not have known I could actually do all those things I did there. So maybe they would
exactly.
have been, all right, that's nice. We have a computer lab now that they set it up. We will find a
Yeah,
teacher to go and teach them maybe on specific days. And also, now that you've mentioned, like
yeah,
now the fact that I was able to go back there and be stationed there for a while, running now Latitude Zero, I
yeah.
got to learn project management. I got
Mm,
to learn how to manage people, how to
mm-hmm,
manage teenagers and children, something I didn't even know.
mm-hmm.
I got to learn how to be a facilitator for workshops and stuff like that. And initially you start your experimenting, you're not so good at these. But by the time I left, honestly, I would say I had almost become sort of an expert at it.
Right.
Yeah, I learned, honestly, that opportunity really opened me up to learning lots and lots of skills and failing. You fail terribly. You make a lot of mistakes, and
Yeah,
it's and also like I learned how to sort of even run a business, something I had never run a business before that in that scale, where you are
right.
there, you're employing people. I no. So for me it was honestly it has been one of the biggest opportunities for me, that has created more opportunities for me to do more bigger stuff and learn a lot about even myself personally. So yeah.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Yeah. Clearly, volunteering is a great way to
Mm-hmm.
sharpen our skills,
I know.
to build confidence in them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. True.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
also put us in front of people who could
Mm-hmm.
potentially be our employers.
I know. That's true. Honestly, for me, it worked. So I can't lie to somebody. And especially, actually, for people who
Yeah.
out here, maybe if you are at the university and you have time to spare, volunteer. You could volunteer. You don't have to go somewhere physically. There's a lot of volunteer opportunities that don't need you to show up. It could be even you're doing something virtually. So if you have the
Right.
time, that especially if you're in campus for sure, that would definitely add on your resume. It's something that you could use to, even apply for jobs. You'll be like, yeah, I worked with this organization and these are the skills I have already. So because people sometimes wonder, oh, it's my first time applying for a job. They're looking for all these skills. I don't know all these sort of experience. Where will I get the experience? That could be it. When you're at school, like, you volunteer your time and learn a few skills along the way, and then by the time you're trying to apply for a job, you are equipped.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really interesting because you can volunteer, whether you're in high school, university, or even
Mm-hmm.
if you're working, you
Yes,
can
that's
still
true.
find a time to volunteer. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Especially
Mm.
now that there is the opportunity for you to volunteer in person or
Mm-hmm.
online.
Yes,
Yeah.
very
Makes it
true.
even
Mm-hmm.
much easier. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And honestly, like as with your story, it's
Mm-hmm.
fascinating
Mm-hmm.
where a volunteering opportunity could lead you to.
Yes,
Yeah. Apart from,
that's true.
you making a difference in the
Mm-hmm.
lives of people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very true.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. That is really interesting though. And for me, I,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like because you were struggling
Mm-hmm.
uh with what to do with regard to giving back to the community. You
Mm-hmm.
were struggling to
Yeah.
find what it is that you wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then you discover, oh, there's something that
Mm-hmm.
I have been doing all my life, which has been working,
I know.
that I could train others on.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
True, true, true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm just like wondering like how much, your life experiences or your childhood experiences
Mm-hmm.
helped you in, establishing Latitude Zero or discovering your purpose, in this case.
Wow. No, actually, it eventually comes into play, because I remember also as a kid,
Yeah.
I was if you actually look at our family, I'm the one person who is very, in terms of like, very hands on with skills and stuff like that. My mom
Right.
used to enjoy crochet when I was younger. I would watch her. I think I've written or said this somewhere. I would
Yeah.
watch her crochet and I'll be like, oh, give me Uzi. Uzi is yarn. And I would
Yeah.
ask my mom to give me yarn. So most of the times when I was a lot younger, she would probably give me, a while back, not now. A while back, we
Yeah.
used to wear those sweaters that were made of yarn until maybe it would wear out around here at the elbow. So my mom will probably give me one that has like some hanging threads, and she's like, you know what, undo that one. So I would undo the yarn, and I would use it. I would recycle that yarn to make something. So I learned crochet as early, I think, as when I was 7 years old. Yeah, if I'm not wrong, around there, between 7. between 7 and 9, I had already learned how to crochet, and it's because I enjoyed seeing my mom do it. So I feel like from when I was a child, I was very hands-on with a lot of stuff, and
Yeah.
eventually, those are some of the programs that I ended up teaching the kids. I have been working with. So
Mm-hmm.
I would be like, yeah, this thing is good for you. So at some point now, how it kind of plays out into Latitude Zero, because of the skills training part specifically. I taught
Yeah.
them how to make bags. I have taught them how to make crochet items. They can make things like scarves. They can make beanies. They can make like a whole sweater. Like those kids,
Yeah.
they are really good at it actually. So for me, I see that's how, sort of how my childhood, at a very subconscious level, I
Yeah.
ended up like utilizing all those skills that I learned when I was still younger.
Yeah.
Now it's like it's I think it was a seed that was planted a long time ago, and for
Mm-hmm.
me I found value in that. And also I believe, as far as hands-on skills are concerned, sometimes it's not also always about the money you can make. It could
Yeah.
be the things you could make for yourself, the gifts you could make for
Yes.
your friends,
Yes.
or it could be the decor stuff you could make for your house. It could be also the whatever, like it could be a skill that you use as a hobby to get away from your busy life where you're always behind your computer. So I see it as a way to also just unwind and
Yes.
get away from the pressures of the world. So I that's why I believe like skills, because for me, like right now, I think after we are done with this recording, I
Yeah.
am making myself a sweater. Yeah, I don't have to buy. I know how to make it. So sometimes during like my free time in my during the evening, sometimes I end up making myself some things,
Yeah.
or I make beanies for my nephews and nieces.
Yeah.
So, and I find a lot of fulfillment in doing that. I enjoy it. It helps
Right.
me really, just get away from the pressure of work and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah. No,
Mhm.
that is lovely. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's lovely. And honestly, I have seen some of your hands-on, like, things that you've made,
Mhm, mhm.
from the beanies to scarves to very many other things. They are really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Thank
love them.
you.
Yeah.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
I I have this scarf and beanie that I look at each time, and they're just beautiful. And I marvel at your
Uh-huh.
skill. Yeah, because
I
it's
try.
so well made.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. You're welcome.
Mhm,
So I think for me, when
mhm,
I look at what you're doing with
mhm.
basically beadwork, which you learned from an early stage in your life,
Yeah.
including being able to crochet,
Mhm.
and also carpentry. I
Oh, you're exposing me. Oh, yes. Yes, yes. I I
I
can do a bit of woodworking.
you see, you literally carpentry, and I was watching
Mhm,
some of your videos on your
mhm.
YouTube channel, and I was so impressed. Literally, like seeing you being able to put together a table, a bed, and all these things. And that is something I can't even do.
Oh my god. It's okay. These things require some passion. No, but by the way, I as I said, I love hands-on stuff. So yeah, I've always wanted to know how to make stuff. I think I was one person who loved Pinterest from the first time I learned what Pinterest is. I would go to Pinterest and see women making stuff. I'd be so impressed. I'm like, wow, that's a lady making that. I'll be like, yeah, I knew how to use a hammer, but for sure I did know how to like fix things and all that. So in 2020 during COVID, I took a lesson for like a month. We
Right.
went to some local carpenter, and yeah, I was like, yeah, teach us how to do these things because they're trying to pass time. Yeah, and this local carpenter taught us like the most basic things like, oh, how to measure stuff, how to join things on the edges or whatever, what angles you need to cut the wood, or
Mhm,
if it's
mhm.
blocks, whatever. I've forgotten boards you're working with, yes, stuff like that. So sorry, they taught us how to do that, and yeah, from there I decided to make my own things. I'm actually thinking I need to put like corner shelves on these
Right.
in this room because it looks very, yeah, for those people that who are able to see to the corner. I'll put some corner shelves. I'll try and see if I can make them from scratch.
Wow. That is
Yeah,
really
but yeah.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely. Yeah. And for me, what
Mm-hmm.
I see
Mm-hmm.
uh, from listening to you and how you've developed and sharpened your skills in so
Yeah.
many hands-on uh, things that you can basically do, from carpentry to beadworking to crochet.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
see the value of parents teaching children hands-on skills.
Oh yeah. Very, very true. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's
I
true.
think clearly it's so important
Mm-hmm.
that parents do that.
Yeah. I agree with you honestly.
Yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
children learn from an early stage how to do things with their hands.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really like a very powerful thing, you
I
know?
know.
Yeah, who could have thought that the skill that you were learning when you were 5 or maybe 10
Mm-hmm.
would become the thing that actually changes the trajectory of your life?
I know. I swear, who would have thought, honestly? I feel like sometimes, yeah, honestly, it's like right now, my sister bought my nephew a small guitar. The other day, he called me. He's like, Auntie Elena, I want to show you. And then I can't remember which song he was singing. Oh no, it's this song, the one that something oh, no 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 poco loco na 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 na. I don't know the song. I don't know
Yeah,
the lyrics, so I don't want to butcher it. But it's from some un poco loco. Yes, where could Siji what that kid sang that song, and then he's there. I don't even think he knows really how to play the guitar that well, but
right,
he's trying. But right
right.
now, nowadays, like today, he sent me a voice note. He was singing
Mm-hmm,
me another song.
mm-hmm.
And I feel like for my sister in particular, she's been very intentional with her parenting. Her kid says he wants to learn how to play the guitar. She buys him something like that. He
Mm-hmm.
wants to learn lyrics to a song. She teaches him.
Yeah,
He wants to read a specific book, she makes it available. So
yeah,
I think, yeah, I think, as like, to just echo what you've said, parents play such a key role. If my
yeah,
mom had not given me yarn to do
yeah,
that when I was younger, I would not have learned how to crochet. That would probably, I would have probably been one of those kids who doesn't like to do hands-on stuff. But
yeah,
because she gave me yarn to crochet, I
yeah.
now enjoyed just working on stuff. I would
Mm-hmm.
make, as I told you somewhere in another episode, I used to make dolls when I was a kid. So
Yeah,
I would yarn something, I would crochet something for the dolls, clothes for the doll. And I think that's where my love for hands-on craft, started. So
right.
yeah, parents do play a very big role.
Absolutely. I
Mm-hmm.
100% agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, what you just said,
Mm-hmm.
I think speaks to the importance of guardians, parents, relatives supporting the interests of the children under
Mm-hmm.
their
Mm-hmm.
care.
Very true. Yes.
Yeah. Trying their best to support their interest, to help them
Mm-hmm.
build their skills in that area, because it could be the thing that they are
Mm-hmm.
most passionate about, and
Yeah.
could be the thing that
Mm-hmm.
they will excel the most at.
That's true.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah, it's very interesting.
Uh-huh. It
Yeah.
could be
And
the
I
thing that helps them start companies.
exactly. Yeah,
Oh yeah, true. Mm-hmm.
absolutely. You learning crochet and beadworking
Mm-hmm.
at a very
Mm-hmm.
early age led you to start a company. Who
I
would have
know.
thought?
Oh my God. Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
honestly, yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And I think another thing, honestly, is
Mm-hmm.
your experience for me
Mm-hmm.
shows the importance of us learning hands on skills.
Yes.
Doesn't matter if we have gone to college or
Mm-hmm.
university to learn maybe professional courses in our fields of interest, or
Mm-hmm.
we already do have a field of
Yeah.
expertise and something like that. It's nice to learn a hands on skill. it
Yes,
it
that's
feels
true.
good to not have to spend, for example, $100 to get a
Uh-huh.
bed when you could make one yourself.
I know every time. I know, right? I know. Yes, yes. You can. This honestly, yes, you could make these things for yourselves. It doesn't
Yeah,
have to be that super expensive. And sometimes you know how much time you kill. Like you are just
yeah,
there doing a lot of nothing. You could be
yes,
channeling that energy to do something constructive.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Wow, no, that is fantastic. I love it. Yeah. So,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask you, what were some of the challenges that
Mm-hmm.
you did face when you were starting Latitude Zero, and
Mm-hmm.
what were some of the ways you dealt with it?
Oh wow, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I think starting Latitude Zero, it's started from a point of you sort of believe in yourself so much. You think you can actually literally do it until you start doing it. And then you're there telling kids, you need to attend this session, and they're like, no, we are not going for beadworking classes. Me,
yeah,
I'm not a woman. Me, I will not do
yeah,
this. This is for girls. This is for men. This is, that kind of, that was like one of the biggest, like, trying to ensure that whoever you are working with, they can get to a level where they can accept, like this, for example, if it's the boys, that a
yeah,
skill like crochet is suitable for men too, or
yeah,
beadworking can be suitable for men too. So
yeah.
experience, that was like one of the biggest issues we had, and it took
Mm-hmm.
a lot of time and a lot of, every day you keep reinforcing the same ideas. You're like, hey, these skills are
Yeah,
important. At some point you even stop everything you're doing, and you're like, that's all you want to talk about that day, and
right.
emphasize. So for me, I would say how we overcame that to get them to a point where now they enjoy and they embrace these skills, and you don't even have to tell them, oh, I don't
Yeah,
know, we are segregating you. I don't know which word to use, or we are separating you, that this one is for men, this one is for women, to
yeah.
a point where they could be like, hey, sign me up for that class without even whatever, without asking them. It
Mm-hmm.
took time, but it needed patience and a lot of, you keep reinforcing every day,
Mm-hmm.
reinforcing with a lot of kindness and patience, and with time it became easy. And
Yeah,
for example, the other thing, the biggest challenge also I faced was the fact that we didn't have systems. It's like you're
yeah,
starting a company from scratch. You think you know stuff until you start, you hire people. You can see the way that person has done the job. You're like, no, this person is joking.
right.
At that point, you are also, it's like the company is yours, but you're also walking on eggshells. You don't even
Yes.
know what you're supposed to tell them. It's not like I was, somebody had taught me how to manage people, our
Yeah.
people management skills. So you are there, you are like, should I scold them? Should I tell them they are wrong? How will they feel?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like managing people, I think for me it was not easy to get to a place where you could be able to tell somebody like, hey, I think you should have done this. And also there was that aspect of, you feel like the way somebody did something, you could have done it better. Because also I think I have suffered with perfectionism. Like
Yeah.
you want everything to be so perfect, and I think it's something that I still struggle with up to now. Like
Yeah.
I think I'm sort of a perfectionist. I don't think even it's a good thing to be a perfectionist, honestly, because it can eat you. It can eat you for sure.
Yeah.
uh, so letting go that aspect of, and understanding that people might not deliver exactly how you would deliver, and like people have different strengths from yourself, and also finding ways to channel and to sort of, if somebody is so good at something, like don't manage them, leave it to them, let them handle it and be satisfied with the results. It took a while. It's like,
Right.
you're like, but I think. So I think even by when we started the company in June of 2019, by the end of that year, I don't even know whether it was, I was almost getting depressed or what it was, but I was so overwhelmed. So I felt like I wanted to quit actually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like 6 months or 7 months down the line, I felt like, wow, can people see what I'm trying to achieve here?
Right.
Yeah, at some point I felt like, so it was as if I was unappreciated. But now looking back, I feel like it was also the things that were in my head, the sort of perfectionism I was looking for. And the way also, when I tell you, for example, I've also, I don't know whether also it's a strength or a weakness, but I'm also this person. If I tell you, for example, I'm working on a project, these are the deliverables, I would want to make sure that I achieve almost 100% of it. But the
Right.
problem at that point, I had not made peace with the fact that when you're working with people, it can be tricky to achieve the 100%. Maybe at an
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
individual level, you can really push yourself,
Yeah.
but as far as when you involve like a team,
Yeah.
the deliverables can, things can change. You could be able
Yeah.
to achieve 90, and at some point I had to make peace with the fact that 90% can be good enough, because challenges are part of the process, and also
Right.
because it takes like a whole team to
Mm-hmm.
bring this dream into a reality. Yeah, I would say, like, basically those are some of the biggest challenges that I faced, and how I, eventually I was like, you know what, whew, breathe in and out. It's not that serious. I know. Yeah, like it was not easy, by the way. Right now I can laugh about it, but hey, you should have seen me then. I was almost boiling. Yeah,
Yeah.
at some point
And
I'll be mad at myself too. Yeah. So.
yeah, I can relate to
Mm-hmm,
that. And so
mm-hmm,
for me,
mm-hmm,
listening to you speak about the challenges you faced
mm-hmm,
uh, with Latitude Zero, and then when
mm-hmm,
I zoom back to the challenges you had with finding um,
mm-hmm,
what to use to give back
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
to the
mm-hmm.
community, I
Yeah.
see I see how you've been able to utilize those challenges to
Mm-hmm,
help yourself grow in a way that basically you were able to support your team to
mm-hmm,
become
mm-hmm,
good for those who were
mm-hmm,
struggling. And
mm-hmm.
then at the same time, those challenges helped you discover, oh, you could actually share your passion with others. And I think
Yeah.
for me,
Mm-hmm.
what I clearly see is that challenges are not signs for you to give up.
I know.
Yeah, they
It's true.
teach
Mm-hmm.
you to be creative, to be
Mm.
flexible, and they can help you to discover your hidden strengths.
I know. That's
Yeah,
true.
they can be
That's
really,
true.
really very powerful. But
Mhm,
also
mhm,
looking at what you were talking about being a perfectionist and everything, I think I can clearly see how you moved from being that to being able to celebrate the small wins. Yeah. So
Huh? That was
and
important.
yeah.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
for me I
mhm,
feel like for anyone listening to us right now,
Mhm, mhm.
Celebrate your wins.
Yes.
Recognize even the
Mm.
small
Mhm,
successes,
mhm, mhm.
because when you do, it motivates you
Yeah,
and it motivates those around you.
that's true.
But it also makes your hard work feel worthwhile. I remember
That's
you
true.
saying, like, you felt like you were underappreciated, like people were not seeing what you were doing.
I
But when you
know.
started celebrating your wins,
Mhm,
you
mhm,
started seeing that, oh no,
mhm,
actually people
mhm.
do. And the hard work you were putting in started, being worthwhile and things
Yeah,
like that. Yeah,
that's true.
yeah. No, that is fantastic. All right.
Yes.
So as we wrap up, um,
Mhm.
I just have like a short question to ask you.
Okay.
Yes. Um, from all of the experiences so far of
Mhm.
running Latitude Zero and everything else, what is the most important lesson you've
Mhm.
learned that you would want, for example, anyone listening to us right now to probably take?
Oh wow. Lessons I have learned from Latitude Zero that I would want somebody to take.
Yeah.
I think it's risk taking.
Mhm.
I feel like as young people, even myself right now, I kind of feel like lately I have not been taking enough risks. I even wrote a blog about taking risks. Yeah, I feel like a lot of young people, we we have these like grand ideas, or we have ideas that we want to try, but
Mhm.
sometimes we hold ourselves back from taking risks. And
Yeah.
if we don't take risks, we might never know. So for me, I would want to encourage people. Like for example, if I had not had this idea in my head of one day I would want to solve a particular problem and taken
Yeah.
that action to actually try,
Yeah.
if I had not put myself out there, I would have never known how much I would have learned or how much impact this whole idea would have had. So, I would encourage any young person out here to think about those ideas they have and what's really holding them back. Why are they not taking the risk? Are they
Right.
afraid of the outcomes? Are they afraid of the journey? Are they afraid that it might blow up or it might be a total fail?
Right.
Whatever it is, don't hold yourself back. Don't be afraid.
Right.
Just put yourself out there, give it a shot, and see what happens. My mom keeps telling us, you
Yeah.
will never know what would happen if you don't take a risk. You have to try, and risk taking means that sometimes you will fail, sometimes you will win. It's like
Mhm.
they say, you win some, you lose some. Yeah, but whatever it is, try, take
Right.
that risk and see where that goes. That has been my biggest lesson with running sort of the company. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. Um, I think it's a very powerful lesson. It's very good
Mm-hmm.
to take risks. And from the conversation we've just had, clearly we shouldn't be also afraid to collaborate with others. I
I
think
know.
partnership and teamwork can help our ideas grow,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
but it can also help us grow. It can make
Yes.
our ideas
Mm-hmm.
stronger and go further.
Yes.
Yeah,
True.
yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's amazing listening to you talk about your collaboration with your colleague and how, you know, that helped you advance and eventually turn what was just an idea
Mm-hmm,
into
mm-hmm.
a company.
I
Fantastic.
know. They definitely played a very key role in making sure we had Latitude Zero and it was running. Yeah, so
Mhm.
sometimes it's also the people you surround yourself with. Do they challenge you enough? And
Right.
also that, as you said, the power of collaboration. Are people willing to work with you? How can you
Mhm.
leverage the skills that other people have or your team has to make
Mhm.
something a success? So yeah, it played a key role, definitely.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, fantastic. Yeah. So, what's the best advice
Mhm.
you ever received?
The best advice I've ever received.
Yes,
Oh, I think the best advice I've ever received while running the company for sure.
maybe running the company or just in your life. The
In
best
my life,
advice.
the best
Yes.
advice has been like it was sort of an affirmation that I'm good at what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I'm good at what I do, and I should just believe in the process and trust in myself more,
Mm-hmm.
and trust in my gut more. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is definitely a very good mantra. It's always good to believe in yourself,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
to believe in what you do. I believe that
Mm-hmm.
too, because otherwise, if you do not believe in yourself and in what you do, how will
Mm-hmm.
others believe in
Yeah.
you and what you do?
I know, that's true. You have to be the one. You are the key.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Kimaru Baby, for sharing your experiences of building Latitude Zero. Uh, for
Mm-hmm.
our listeners and viewers, be sure to follow Latitude Zero on their website and helenakimaru.com to learn more about what she's doing and all this amazing work that she's been talking about in this episode today. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
don't forget to subscribe to the Spark It podcast for more inspiring conversations.
I
Until
know.
next time, keep sparking change. Bye for now.
Ish.